made the game more interesting than I would have preferred in terms of, execution in the late stages of the game. We need to have a better understanding of time and score, and when we've got the ball and the opponent is in a mode where they're just going to foul us, we need to just continue to put touches on it, basically play hot potato, be strong with each catch, and then convert to the foul line, and that's the traditional way to salt the victory away. But so I thought we made it more interesting. It was 11, I think, when Felix missed that layup, which would have put it to 13. He misses the layup, and then I think Dom tried to drive one, came up empty, and then I think D'Angelo got involved and took a shot, came up empty, and next thing you know, it's a 6-point game. We're at the free throw line, and we were able to put some distance between ourselves and DePaul. So, but pleased we got the win, given that Chris Obekba is injured. For us to out-rebound DePaul by 16 says a lot about our kids' grit and hustle, to find a way to offset not having Chris Obekba at our disposal this evening.
Steve, when it was tied at 62, they seemed a little bit frustrated with some of the officiating calls. What did you say to them at that point about keeping it together?
Yeah, just the importance of focusing on the next play, the next task is where our collective focus needs to be. Not on the last call or the last missed shot or even a shot where something good happens for us. When you're in those peaks or valleys in a game that's determined, by split-second reactions, you put yourself at a big disadvantage. We had a breakaway dunk, I think, and in the euphoria of that breakaway dunk, Paul gets organized, pushes the ball down the floor, and hits a three. So in that sequence, we were -1. Our 2 for their 3. So now they've cut into our deficit. They've cut into their deficit against us. So it really was more about, focusing on the next task, to be in the present. The next play is what a next play mentality. So there's times where we struggle with that this year. And it's an area we have to grow if we're going to make a move here late in the season and give ourselves an opportunity to do something special come March.
Steve, a couple of just quick things.
Sure.
What is Chris's status going forward?
Yep, still day-to-day, kind of like a high ankle sprain and day-to-day.
Okay, and the other one I was going to ask you is, how many times this season in 24 games have you been asked to get back in the coaching box?
So, no comment.
Steve, at that point, when you started to pull away, D'Angelo and Bill kind of made a flurry of hustle plays right there. Is that just kind of a sign of their maturity and how much this means to them as seniors?
Yep, I think I was pleased with the tenacity our seniors exhibited, and the ball club, as a whole, was on their toes and playing aggressively. There were times where we didn't play with the purpose that I would have preferred. Some of our choices were, less than stellar, but there was no questioning their competitive spirit, their grit, their will to win this game. And rebounding is often when you're undersized, as we were against DePaul, and you're +16. That's a good indication that your guys are alert and aggressive and hustling and really scrapping. Because we had to front their bigs after we were switching their on-ball action, and so it means we were giving away, the inside position as a trade-off for fronting and not allowing their bigs to get catches. And that's what makes it, usually the trade-offs, you get out rebound when you do that, but you're trying to limit the touches or the catches and not allowing the size to be as much of an advantage. So I was, high marks for our group collectively, which was made up of mostly guards, but they found a way to out-rebound the ball by 16, and as important as the three-point shooting and the free throw shooting.
Steve, it seems like this was a pretty special performance by Harrison. Maybe not just based on the scoring numbers and rebounding, but sort of the intangible things. Did you see this as a special game for him?
You know, I think I've become accustomed to, you know, him. I've become accustomed to D'Angelo stepping up and making, you know, big shots and having the courage in critical junctures to take a game over in one form or fashion through his shooting, free throw shooting, or rebounding the ball. Because today I thought there were some sequences where his rebounding was impressive. And then when he had 4 fouls, you know, both him and Rashid had 4 fouls, you know, there's some discipline on display for him to move his feet, use his length, and show good judgment. You know, while there are aspects of play that I touched on earlier where I didn't think we used good judgment, understanding time and score late in the game, but we did show good defensive judgment or discipline in not picking up the 5th fouls that Rashid or D'Angelo could have. And I think the 2-3 zone helped stem the bleeding. Not a big fan of the zone, but sometimes you have to go to it, and I thought it was a difference maker tonight.